Hello, welcome to WVU. I'm Lindsay Reinhardt. I'm the Field Education Director, and I want to talk with you, our online BSW students, about what to expect in field education as you enter the program. So first, I'd like to start with why social work field education is so important. One of the things for you to know is that field education is designated by our accrediting body, the Council on Social Work Education, as its signature pedagogy. And so what this really means is that field education is equal in standing and importance to your coursework. So just as important as it is for you to be in the classroom learning about social work and social work theories and social work practices, you're also going to have this experience in real practice doing the things you've learned in the classroom. This is what really prepares you to kind of try on this identity as a social worker. This is what's going to allow you to learn how to do this across different settings. So you're going to be in one field placement during your BSW program, but throughout your career, you're likely going to work in many different settings. Maybe you already work in the field, but now you're going to have that experience really doing this intentionally as a social worker. So again, this is really kind of where the rubber meets the road, and field education is meant to allow you to practice the things that you're learning in the classroom with close supervision and space to process and talk through what you're experiencing. So these are our social work competencies. These will continue to become really familiar to you. All of your courses are based around these 9 competencies, and your field experience will be connected to all 9 of these competencies. And so these are all things that you will practice doing in your field placement. You will make a plan early on in your placement where you're going to connect the day-to-day tasks that you'll do in your setting with all of these 9 competencies so that we can ensure that you're getting to practice them all. And this is what you'll be assessed on to ensure that you've learned what you need to learn to go out and practice as a social worker. So a little bit about your BSW field placement. It is meant to be kind of a diverse learning experience. We want you to have experience blending direct client engagement, service coordination, really kind of building some of those core social work skills, and again, integrating your classroom content. So you could be in a wide range of settings to do this, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And I also really like to emphasize that this is, this is not an apprenticeship. This is not about you kind of learning how to work in one specific agency, but really about you learning how to be a social worker in that setting, practice these different competencies and these different social work skills. And then again, as you go out, you'll work in other places with those same skills. During your field placement, you will have weekly supervision with a social work field instructor. You'll have what we call a faculty field liaison. And so this will be faculty from the School of Social Work that's teaching your seminar course and really helping make sure that you're getting those connections. You'll be enrolled in Social Work 491 throughout your entire senior year. So both the fall and spring semester, you'll be in that field seminar course, and that's the credit-bearing part of your internship. So that's where you're going to have some course content, have spaces to kind of connect that internship back. You'll have seminar space where we're really kind of integrating, again, these social work concepts and what are they looking like in all of your different placements. And you'll get to hear from your peers about what are they doing in their placements, how do they all look differently. So some of the logistical details, your field placement will be a 400-hour placement. It will start in the fall of your senior year. So we're talking now before your junior year. We've got a year to prepare for this. So this usually starts around the second week of October, and you do that placement throughout that senior year until the end of April, first week of May. And so this tends to be about 17 to 20 hours per week, but you'll work out the specific scheduling with the agency where you do your placement. Lots of you might be wondering about employer-based placement. So if you already work in the field, there are conversations we can have about whether or not your placement agency would be appropriate to count as an internship. This is something that we allow. I have more information about this, but things I really like you to consider really right from the get-go are, there are some potential risks of kind of marrying your work to your education. If things go wrong, they go wrong across both spaces. So you really want to make sure you're in a workplace that you feel comfortable, you feel supported, that there's flexibility, that there's room for you to grow. And again, I will provide you a lot more detail as we get closer, but these are good conversations to kind of continue to have with work. Again, if this is something that you're thinking about doing, it would be good to kind of be talking about this now. It's acceptable that you might have a lot of things in your job that would overlap and count towards field hours, but we also often encourage you to kind of take on some new responsibilities, and so that can look different ways in different settings. All employer-based placements require that you complete a proposal. And so this is a form that's on our website where you would fill out information. There's no need for you to work on this now. We'll talk more about it, but this is something you could look at if you wanted to. So you would fill out a proposal. Our field office would have a meeting with you and with your work supervisor. And then these are all approved on a case-by-case basis. Some key documents, again, you'll get more details about all of these, but just to kind of know what's coming, we have a field education handbook that's on our website. And we'll have the link to a great page for you to find a lot of these documents in your orientation shell. During your placement, you'll do a learning contract. And so this is really kind of a learning plan that connects all of your competencies to the things that you're doing in your internship. And that's what you'll be assessed on. So at the midterm and final of your placement, you'll have an assessment where you'll assess yourself and your supervisors will assess you based on those competencies and the plan that you put together. You'll turn in a timesheet once a month. We'll get a final summary of that. And then again, that final field experience evaluation. We do all of these forms in an online database called Tivera, and we'll talk more about that later on. Oops, I went backwards. So just to kind of summarize what's next, our field office will host a field overview presentation and FAQ session in September, so we'll share dates about that soon. I will also have a form for all of you to fill out in September just to provide a little bit of detail to help us prepare, letting us know kind of where you are geographically, maybe if employer base is something that you're thinking about or not, and some of your goals. We will go through kind of a guided placement process with you. So you'll work with our field office. We're going to respect that you have some knowledge about your communities, but we might have some partners in your community as well. And so we'll kind of collaborate with you to figure out where the best place for you to do this placement is. We'll start the formal placement process in March. And so in March, we will do a more lengthy field briefing where I will kind of go over lots of details about field and the whole process. Then you'll fill out a more detailed application, and then you'll have an individual meeting with somebody from our field office to talk about your specific situations. And then after that, we'll give you more information and you will interview for internships between April and July. Some sooner, some later. We'll get that all finalized by the end of July, and then you will start your field placement in October of your senior year. And you'll be in that placement for 400 hours between October and April of that senior year. And this comes out to about 17 to 20 hours a week. So that's kind of what you have coming up to look forward to. More information soon about our kind of September information session. And here I'll close by sharing contact information. So again, I'm Lindsay Reinhardt. I'm the Field Education Director, but I have two teammates in our field office, Jamie Messer and Savannah Zink. So feel free to reach out to us if you have questions. We look forward to working with all of you.